This is supposed to be a show called MeatEater. So far, I've eaten nothing but bars. I don't know what's in those bars either. Oats and rice syrup and cardboard. I ate a bar that was made of cricket flour. Apparently it's high in protein. I don't want crickets. I want deer. Fresh deer, please. Not jerky. I want fresh Alaskan Prince of Wales deer.
I'm Steven Ranella. To me, hunting isn't only about the pursuit of an animal. It's about who we are and what we're made of. I live to hunt and hunt to live. I am a meat eater. Alaska, Prince of Wales Island. I've been hunting and fishing this area on and off for a decade. It is inspiring and unforgiving. It constantly tests the limits of your ability to endure discomfort. Winds often surpass 80 miles an hour in the nearby straits, and with an annual precipitation of 160 inches, it is one of the wettest places in North America. Perhaps it is against my better judgment, but I've invited my buddies Joe Rogan and Bryan Callen up here to hunt Sitka blacktail deer.
If you said to me, that fanny pack brings good luck, and if you wear that fanny pack, great fortune will fall on not only your family, but 10 generations afterwards, I wouldn't wear the fanny pack.
Does your wife like or not like the fanny pack?
You know what? That right there is a grand sign of one of the real problems with men, is that men are constantly trying to court women's favor, and that in doing so, we've altered our fashion.
That's right.
And we've made things that used to be convenient, we've gotten rid of them because women went, ew.
That's right.
Ew. I reject that.
Yeah, but don't you feel a little bit like a marsupial?
Nope.
Like when I think of myself as an animal, I think of myself as a jungle cat. Do you have an animal in mind when you hunt? Are you a possum? Is there a first class here? Don't be afraid.
I'm a little afraid. It's a big trip for me.
If we can get good weather, and if the deer haven't just migrated down into the old growth yet, we're gonna get so much deer meat stacked up that they're gonna have to bring in an extra plane to haul out our deer meat.
Yeah,
That's a goal.
that's a great goal.
Everybody cool?
Since I first introduced Joe and Bryan to hunting, they have both bagged a mule deer in Montana and a whitetail in Wisconsin. So these guys are almost accidentally on their way to an official North American deer slam. But the weather will not make it easy. Heavy rains are forecast every day of our hunt, typical for this time of year. So to help them out, we've brought in our secret weapon, MeatEater producer and avid hunter, Janis Putelis.
This is some legit wilderness. If people never existed ever, this would look exactly the same way.
Yeah, that's the thing. You feel so diminutive. You feel small in a good way.
Maybe you.
Hey, man. Ooh, is this where we're camping?
Yeah.
Right here, in the wet. Well, we won't be wet and cold. That's the most important thing.
Hey, Bryan, everybody else is carrying luggage.
Sorry,
Why don't you
buddy.
come carry luggage?
Might be a good idea.
What a good idea.
Yeah, let me take that. You don't have the bone structure for that. Let me get that. There you go. Ah, oh, what the heck?
It's great that we got here, but now it's just supposed to get windy, rainy. In the meantime, I think we should go out now and have a look around. Joe, I'll hunt with you, Janis and Bryan. You guys like to eat deer meat, we like to eat deer meat. I think if we see a legal buck, we should shoot the buck. Not that that's gonna happen, that we'll be that lucky, but I think that would be like a good thing, is not let one pass right now.
Anytime you're sneaking around these corners like this, try to go extra slow, because every step you take opens up a ton of country.
It's starting to really blow now.
get a weird feeling from a place like this.
Yeah, I know you do. It's kind of like a spooky place. We should probably just head down out of here. I think it's gonna get worse.
It's nasty up here, but it sure is pretty. But this fits right into your grand scheme.
This was planned that it would get like this.
You like to suffer
don't-
and then have success.
I hate having success up top.
What's really funny is that this place is the rainiest place in North America, and we hope
Yeah.
there would be no rain.
But if you go to a rainy place and then you get a nice day, you feel so good about life.
You're a weirdo.
I like to defy the odds, man. And have like a hope for a nice day in a wet place. Yeah, so we're gonna hunker in, stay dry, get a break in the weather. Everybody's gonna be absolutely ready to go. We're gonna go out and it's gonna be awesome hunting. Till then, I'll be in this area.
Today, leaving camp,
Look beautiful.
it was look like a great day.
Yeah, like we're gonna get out here, the deer are gonna be up, running around.
Their first legit buck sign.
In aviation, they talk about sucker holes where you're flying above the clouds and you see a little hole and it lures you in. You drop down and then you're screwed, you know? It's like we left camp in the sucker hole. It's just rain, and when it's not rain, it doesn't really matter because it's just fog. There's gotta be deer here. I think it's just a matter of waiting. As painful as it is, if we get where the wind's calm and the rain lets up, it'll be like Jack in the Boxes.
I just found our first deer of the trip. Where? Right down below us.
I see it.
But unfortunately, it's not a buck.
Yeah, it's a doe.
Now you just trained your brain for what to look for. We're gonna move over to the next glass of knob. Still keep an eye on the doe below us. She might have a big brother or cousin, dad.
I have a feeling that we're gonna see a buck over the next ridge. We sound like gamblers.
You have to be optimistic. Because if there's not a buck over the next ridge, we might as well go and sit in our tent.
All we've done all day is basically survive.
Yeah, we're enduring this. I'm not hating it. It's just wet.
It's like my friends have this thing, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but they find that the lowest, cheapest grade of fun is things that are actually fun while you're doing it. The highest grade of fun is things that are miserable while you're doing it, but they're fun to remember. And that kind of fun is more valuable. So like a roller coaster is very low grade, not important fun. Suffering is a high grade, important fun.
That's interesting. So you're planning for future fun by hating life
Because
now.
later, when you're sitting around being like, that sucked. It was so much fun. Like that, no one ever 5 years down the road is like, remember that roller coaster? Woohoo! That was a good time.
It's almost 5.
Yeah, we should start picking our way back to camp because we'll be getting back there around dark anyway.
We've been having a good time.
Makes me
Wow,
miss
we're
Callen,
miserable.
man. No insult to you, but Callen's.
He's always on.
Yeah.
He puts on a show. I don't have that much show in me.
Have not seen anything but that doe, and even the doe left us. So, again, you kind of feel like you're the only person out here, and this area doesn't care about you one way or the other. How can there be this much area and not one buck? Makes no sense. I've seen more deer in LA by far than I have in Alaska. I'll take you right now to areas of Los Angeles, right now in Topanga Canyon. It's really warm. I know some good restaurants.
Maybe some hot cocoa will lift your spirits.
Not even. What'll lift my spirits is a belly full of buck meat when I go to bed tonight. That's what would put me in a good mood.
When you're here, you're wet. I kind of knew that we were gonna get wet, but I didn't think that you'd stay wet. I figured there'd be like a way to dry off, but there's really not a way to dry off here. You don't dry, nothing's dry. Even the inside of this is like slick with wet. You know, there's worse things in life, but it's fairly uncomfortable.
I feel good about today, Steve.
Glad you do.
I really do. I feel like today's the day. It all turns around.
Okay, so we're gonna go for a boat ride. Yeah, man, Southeast Alaska, 75% of the days, I wonder like why I ever got involved with this place.
Really?
And
75%?
25% of the days, you're like, oh, that's why. The reason I always want to come back to this place is that mountain right there, but it's always socked in, you know? But when I hunted here before, one day it got nice, and that thing was just the most inviting, glowing mountain. And it just has haunted me since then. Someday I want to get on top of that thing and hunt. I don't want to make the mistake I made yesterday by getting us up high and then having fog roll in and spending hours underneath that tarp. So I'd rather hunt stuff that has less visibility due to vegetation rather than no visibility due to cloud cover.
I'm not trying to turn this into a competition. This is just hunting. It's an experience, but we got to get a deer before they do. So what we got to do is just creep, whisper, and find ourselves a blacktail. Buck.
Sun's trying to peek out. And cross our fingers that by the time we make it up, it's gonna burn off the clouds and there's gonna be bucks just prancing around everywhere, waiting for Brian.
I take it as a personal affront that the deer decide to lie down. I'm trying to hunt them. You see it? It's a doe. Yeah. The wind's right on our back. Just take off. Another lone doe. Can you believe that? All we need is horns, man. We just need horns. Technically antlers. If we're gonna like pray to like a deer god, make sure you're using proper jargon. Antlers. Antlers. Not horns. That doe got me searched. That was the surge I needed.
I'm really starting to sweat it. Like I'm getting real nervous. Up till this point, I could blame the weather, being like, well, the high winds and the rain, you know, it's got them all laying down. But it's nice now. I mean, if I was a deer, I'd be out snacking. And there's just diddly. I mean, there's nothing. I haven't laid eyes on a deer yet. This trip, I'm getting super nervous. There's a deer. Doe-like physique.
Lost my deer, Joe. It was a short-lived spot. There's a deer. Just looks like a youngster. Blunt, short kind of nose. We're in the zone, man. This is the zone? It's a little better than we were doing. That's some nice weather we had for a little while.
Beautiful.
An hour.
Hope this will blow through.
This is not for humans. It is obviously for phantom deer. You see that, those tracks? The deer here are made of air. They're air deer.
I think our sun window might have passed.
Here we are in the dank, dark woods of Alaska, Prince of Wales, 160 inches of rain a year, yet we made fire. We would take refuge in this fire. Well, I'll tell you what, our last trip together, the deer came a little too easy. I'm gonna be honest.
You guys have had 2 trips where you guys just gravy trained on in.
Gravy train?
I don't know how
Come on. Montana wasn't a gravy train.
I was cold for 5 days straight.
Are you at all upset that you took us to a hole?
I don't want you to think this. I don't have like spots to go do stuff.
Oh,
I just happen to have an affinity for this place, and I thought we'd come here and work a little bit and get it
Well,
here.
you wanted to punish us. Teach us a lesson.
No, I just wanted you to be
it came
like.
too easy. You were talking about the gravy train.
If I was being absolutely like moral and just, I would be working hard to make it so you don't get a deer. Just because you can't have it be that every time you go out in the woods you wind up getting something.
I can and I will.
Yes, you can.
I want a deer. I want it now. I'm gonna freak out.
The weather uncertainty has it that Joe and Brian are gonna try, if they get a plane in here, they're gonna try to get out of here today. I'm able to stick it out a little longer, so I'm gonna hunt today. And if I get something, I'm gonna turn it into all kinds of tasty meat treats, sausages and whatnot, and send it to you guys.
Beautiful.
That's what I like hearing.
I'm glad you took us up here. It's absolutely beautiful. But, you know, it's tough conditions. I'll never come back.
You know, I'm second guess. I wish I would have taken you guys somewhere where it was a little more, where we had a little, like, more honest hunt time when it felt right.
It's all educational for Brian and I. I mean, obviously, we've only been doing this for 2 years when you started us off. So all these trips, just another little adventure. Plus, we got to be honest. He's a legit pro.
At the same time, you can never discount another aspect of hunting, which is just being around a bunch of guys and after a long day of rain, and you know, you're tired, but you have a lot of laughs.
Unfortunately, you will not see most of it
A lot of the laughs.
because it's inappropriate. A lot of what we joked around about is very inappropriate.
All right, I'm gonna go hunting.
Thanks, Steve.
See you guys back in civilization.
So let's do a scene where you start walking. I'm gonna say, hey, Steve, and then I want you to turn. Don't move your feet, just turn your body. So when you walk.
Oh, like, yeah, no, I know the kind of scene you're going for.
All right, now watch this. Hey, Steve. Get us a buck.
Well, Steve's off to go shoot a deer. He probably will.
World record. Sip a blacktail buck.
Sitka.
I say Sippa.
Jesus Christ. He barely pays attention.
Sitka?
Sitka.
Sitka?
S-I-T-K-A.
First time I ever came to this spot, I missed the biggest blacktail I've ever seen. And honestly, I have never stopped thinking about how I wanted to come back up and climb this mountain. And that was a couple years ago. And sitting here now, I kind of have this guilty realization that I was sort of mixing up my desire to take Joe and Brian on a hunting trip here and my desire to come up and sit on top of this mountain. Having Joe and Brian go away and come up here and sit here, you know, by yourself, and you realize how much their humor is kind of like a, here at least, seems almost like a defense mechanism against just the lonely brutality of this joint. It's just a sad feeling place. Like a great beauty to it, but it's a very sad, great beauty.